Hey everyone, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I will be doing another update for my Project Life album for February. I'm starting off with a fun, different type of story about my son and his friend. I don't know how, but my son always wrangles his friend into taking these selfies and sending them to me, and it started off as like a happy Monday thing, and now it just evolves into like whenever my son wants to send me a selfie. But I love it, and obviously I save them, and now I am posting about it on YouTube, so I'm sure they're gonna be thrilled. No, my son won't mind, which is I'm thankful for. But I am using the back of the 3x3 pocket design that I had for a weekly spread, and then there's 2x2s in the middle. I'm just doing it on a piece of paper because if you watch that process video, I wound up learning that the page protector is a lot longer, at least a 1/4 inch longer than all my other page protectors. So it was gonna bug me. So I just put it on a piece of paper. I also used a really old story kit called Tech to put this together. I used a tag that says LOL, and I just changed it into a 2x2 card. Also cut out a phone, and then I think up at the top I have a strip that says best text message of the day, and I also changed a digital stamp to say gotta love this, and made the story into a 3x3 box, so that way I could talk about the story and how my son seems to enjoy really sending me these hilarious pictures of him and his good friend. So I love them, and I had to document it, and now it is in our family album forever. And as you can see on the front of it is the photos that I took out of the page protector that I did not like. So on one particular Friday in February, I got some really great photos of both my kids. So I decided to make a Happy Friday page. I feel like in February, I have a lot more one-page type of stories going on, and that's totally okay with me. Especially this one. It was a lot of fun to play with the tags and play with the vellum, and I even cut out some hearts using the digital stamp, using my Cameo. So I have my daughter on the left and my son on the right, and my son's photo has a lot of negative space with the seat, the car seat, I guess you could say. And so I'm going to use several of the large tags. I have February moments that I'll tuck into the top, and then a black heart one that I will use in that negative space. Layered on top will be an XO, and on top of that will be a layered black label. So it's like 3 different labels. It's really fun and fantastic, and I love it. Feels like along with having more one-page kind of stories in my February album, I'm getting a few more opportunities to kind of play with my supplies, which is so fun. Because I also decided to use some vellum as layering pieces as well. The new Ali Edwards kits come with a whole pack of vellum, and I don't want it to just sit there, so I'm trying to figure out ways to use it. This Galentine's one, I would have probably like just thrown it away because I don't really have a Galentine's, but I did notice that I could punch out the bottom of it, and I would have some really basic neutral pink. So that's what I'm going to do up at the top corner of my daughter's photo. I'll layer in a punched shape of the pink, and then a large pink heart that I cut out on my Cameo, tuck that behind the February, and also make sure to include the XO vellum that I punched out as well. So lots of fun little layers up in that corner, and I had to do a pop of red because my daughter's wearing a red sweater and my son is pretty much in head to toe red. So that's why I decided to go with cutting out a big bold heart banner and just putting it on the page. I was a little hesitant because it is so bold and bright, but I went for it. So up in the corner, like I said, is all that layered goodness, and now I'm going to work on the other layered section that's going to make part of the title that says Happy Friday. And I decided to cut out the letters Friday, cut it out twice so that way I could layer it and give it more emphasis. And I will say that, like, if I repeat this story, which I think I will in April, I want to make sure that I write down like 3 or 5 things that each of the kids are doing in school during that week or during that day, and then that way I can add it to the layout, because I think that would give more meaning to the layout. because I waited so long on this project, and I didn't include it in my Hobonichi, which is not like me, but I didn't. And so I didn't really have any journaling to add to this page. But if I repeat this story, which I think I will in April, I'm definitely going to write down those little tidbits about the kids and what they're doing in school. So over on this second cluster, once I layered in that vellum, I put down the main row of red hearts, and then off in the corner, I put just a little piece of the XO. I almost felt like I should have scooted over that XO piece, but I kind of like how it's off by itself, and it just helps to add a diagonal point up to the XO tag. So in the end, that little piece over on the left-hand side added to it. So the next thing I have to do is put together my letters for Friday. And I've mentioned this before, but I love when I make a title to cut it twice. So that way it almost looks like real chipboard letters, or, real thickers. Not exactly like thickers. Do you guys remember thickers? I don't know if they're still around, but I used to collect thickers like religiously. I don't know. I collected them so much. But then they really started to bother me because they would fall off the sheets, and then I would lose all the vowels. And so now I can't even see thickers. I just can't do it. Alpha stickers and me just don't get along anymore because of the vowel situation. I'll just cut it on my Cameo. But anyways, I'm almost done with this cute little page, and I love how it turned out. It's so fun, and I'm so glad that I got to just have a fun little page to play with the tags and the vellum and use up the supplies in the kit right away, because that's important, right? And not just sit on your stash and not use it. And especially with these new Ali Edwards kits and the new components like the tags and the vellum, it's like I feel like I gotta figure out a way to use this. I want to challenge myself, and it has been a really nice challenge. And you guys, I love it. So this page is all done. I'm gonna put it into the album and then show you. Then the next and final little spread that I'm gonna put together is more of a weekly spread. I think it's like week 7, I want to say. I'm terrible at numbering my weeks, but that's okay. Maybe I'll go back. Maybe I'll remember to go back. I should remember to go back. So the next one, like I said, is week 6 or 7, because it's the week of Valentine's Day. And this is what I am starting with. I'm starting with a 3x4 pocket on the left-hand side and a collage on the right-hand side. I had these photos at 2x2 and 3x2, and then just shrunk it down by 90%, so that way there was a little bit of room on the left-hand side to punch the holes. And then I just printed it out. I wasn't going to try to glue it myself, adhere it down, and mess up the alignment. No way. So I just printed out the whole thing, and now I'm ready to go. And I start off with the 3 things card because I talk about Valentine's Day, and my daughter did her wax museum presentation where she became an important American history. She became an important American citizen that helped shape America. And my daughter was Margaret Hamilton, who helped NASA. And then the third one was our anniversary, and I just said we'd been married for 16 years. I also printed several, or not printed, I picked out several alpha sticker sheets, yellow and red and green, and I wanted to add some of those because I am going to have a 4x6 insert. I had a cloud photo that I really wanted to keep at 4x6, but once I started putting this spread together, I had no 4x6 spot on the main spread. So I'm just going to do an insert and also figure out a way to use more of the 4x6 cards because I also don't use a lot of those. I did come up with a genius way to use the vellum, and I feel so proud of myself because I was trying to figure out how can I put a piece of patterned paper here without stamping. Well, one of the vellum cards was 4x6, and I was like, well, I can try to measure that. So I started off by measuring with my T-bone folder. Is that what it's called? T-bone? Why am I trying to say T-bone? I don't know, but my bone folder. And in the end, what worked best is laying down my ruler and then folding up the page to give that crease so that way I knew where to cut. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing over here so that way I can have a piece of it. I just wanted to move it down a little bit so that way the red flower was towards the bottom and my chipboard was going to be in the middle of the long stemmed flower, if that makes sense. But I absolutely love how these came together, and like I said, I felt so smart when I came up with this idea. I am also going to use the pieces to, some of the leftover flower pieces to cut out and add to the left-hand side. Because for me, and I don't know, you guys should leave me a comment and let me know if you guys are the same way, but I feel like if one side has something, the other side has to have it to balance it. Not always, but if most of the time, that's how I feel. So the other side I felt like needed some of that flower treatment to kind of balance it all out. So I will cut out a green stem and also another flower. But for now, I've got all the pieces cut out, and then I can layer that giant yellow tag right on top. It looks like it's pointing to the ice cream, but it's really not. I'm going to use it to say pieces of the whole. It actually says this story, but I'm going to put a word phrase sticker on top of it because I don't need it to be all about a story about ice cream. I don't. I need it to be about more than that. So over on the photo of my son, I took a picture of him at his track and field meet. So I just put a chipboard that says such a lovely day and tucked in a piece of like greenery from that vellum and just layered it behind the chipboard. I also have a leftover piece of like flour. You can see I'm putting it on the 4x6 right now. And I know it's in pieces, but I feel like I could still use it on the 4x6 card. And I also have some really tiny white flowers that I might be able to use as well. So I'm going to save those for the 4x6. And I love the idea of taking one of those flowers and putting it in the O on the love card, because I did use a filler card that says, be in love with your life every minute of it. So I'm going to figure out all kinds of ways to tuck in those pieces of flower. So over on the 2x2 card area, a little smaller, remember, but it says the story of now and also has a word phrase sticker that says favorite. So over here on this yellow tag, I put pieces of the whole because I wanted to include bits and pieces of the rest of the week. So I said all the kids' activities right now, always loving dessert during family time, afternoon workouts keep me going, some prizes from my husband on Valentine's Day, and then signs of spring. So I just tried to kind of bullet point list everything that was on this collage as best as I could, and whatever I needed for a longer story is going to go on the 4x6 card, because there was a lot of stories during this week. So I wanted to make sure that I had that, and that's why the 4x6 worked out really well. And I think I've mentioned this before. I have one particular pen that I really love to use on Allie Edwards cards. It seems to work better. I cannot remember what it's called, but I will link it in the description box. As you can see, I built the little flower out of the pieces, and it doesn't look too bad. You can't tell it's like 3 different pieces and pieced together. And then I added the white little scrap at the bottom. And now I'm just going to journal all about the week, once again using my Hobonichi cousin journal to kind of look back and see what was going on during this week. So I said that Monday was a busy day, and I reminded myself that despite the going and going and going, because I told myself I'm like a professional taxi driver, that there's still plenty of joy. And as I was picking up my son from track and field, that's when I saw the clouds, and I definitely had to snap a photo of it because I just love clouds. I'm a sucker for clouds. My daughter also had a really fantastic Monday class with her friend in karate, which is really awesome. I talked about the various shows that we're all loving. My daughter and I love a show. We have a family show, and then my husband and I have a show. And then I also said in the classroom that I work in, the kids are learning about states of matter. And then one of the parents came in and did a presentation, which was really cool. I also said that I love the mornings when we all get out of the house on time with no grumps. I have a new phrase that I really love called potato time, which is kind of like couch time or just, resting at the end of the day. And that is essential and definitely my favorite, like I said, my favorite new word. I also said I'm thankful for all the gifts and treats my second graders gave me on Valentine's Day. We ended the week with a neighborhood walk and loving the signs of spring. I did forget one little story, and I'm going to add that a little bit later on because I wanted to talk about why my son is holding kind of an old school metal lunchbox. So I'm going to add that in just a little bit. I do need to punch this page protector, and I'm going to do that. And then I also, like I said, have this little insert and it's already punched. So I can just add a sticker to the cloud photo, just a little pop of yellow. And I'm going to put a little bit about life. And so I love that. That way there's some yellow there and, I'm pulling the yellow from the other various spots. So loving my 6x8 album, and again, just finding ways to not make it so complicated on myself like I did with the collage. No need to overcomplicate things. Let's just try to get our stories documented. So like I said, I have to punch the holes on this one, and the reason is this weekly spread, on the left-hand side, it's going to be part of my daughter's wax museum layout that I'm going to do, and it's one of those special scrapbook.com page protectors that's panoramic and flips out, so that's pretty cool. So I'm laying all the pieces down, and I think this is when I kind of realized that I wanted to add in that story about my son with the lunchbox. I just wanted to add a little note that says my son was excited about volunteering the following week as a junior leader, and he even packed up his lunch to get all ready. It was the best. I'm sure he probably didn't want me to share that, but he is so good at his volunteer job, helping out with the kids. Because after this week, we went on President's Day week break. So now I've got this page done, and I've got 3 more stories and a weekly spread all documented, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'd love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. Have a great day. Bye.